Hi, we are going to start talking ADHD. Some keywords just to help you recap and recall. I talked briefly about myself, my books, and the uniqueness of my holistic approach on ADHD and personality, what it means to be ADHD, on mindfulness, meditation, misunderstood, and the parent or teacher as therapist. The informed therapist accompanies the parent or teacher and explains a complex neurological diagnosis in simple, accessible terms. I talked about the gaps in functioning between the what and the how. I know what it is I want to say, but experience great difficulty and hence anxiety in how I'm going to be able to present my knowledge. We ADHD have a basic difficulty in regulating our thoughts and our drives, not our emotions, though it can seem that way. When an individual is regulated, he can consciously choose to control his thoughts and his drive. This includes the ability to regulate our minds, stop in order to process an idea in our head, and speak in an organized, coherent, sequential manner. People coping with ADHD genuinely experience periodical and unpredictable difficulty with regulation. I will return to this subject again and again because it is the basis of the diagnosis. As a hyperactive woman, I am extremely curious. I don't stop thinking. I insist on understanding, and I'm not afraid to take deep dives until my mind is popping with thoughts and ideas that race through my head. I feel an irresistible urge to unload the excess baggage in my head, and therefore I chat non-stop. I talk incessantly and spontaneously, and yes, this is also the reason we are spontaneous, intuitive, primal, sincere, honest, charismatic, and authentic. Wait a minute, you ask yourself, so why is it so difficult to speak sequentially? We return to the unpredictable difficulties with regulation that make it very tough to stop and choose to speak in an organized way without letting the overload of thoughts and drive interfere. Another light bulb moment? Yes, every task of organization requires us to function in a sequential manner. Sequence requires an ability to manage time, and we have extreme difficulties with time. This has many implications, which I will discuss on another video. To come back to the gaps in functioning, they can occur between and within domains. For example, we can notice significant gaps in functioning between history and art, or within domains such as language, between spontaneous and demand language. Another example would be mathematics, where a person is excellent at solving math equations or sums or exercises, but has difficulty with verbal questions. A great deal of attention is required to read and follow and understand a verbal question. And this is why we often choose to avoid them. And we even misunderstand and tell ourselves that we are not good at maths. When we are not mindful and do not fully understand something, we tend to guess, interpret, criticize, complain, punish, and judge. The so familiar, you're just plain lazy and don't have patience, when the difficulty is in fact with attention, is ever so disappointing and insulting. And now I will take the opportunity to again thank Karen Zaguri-Cohen, a mother in a workshop I first facilitated, who translated what I was saying into brilliant poems, originally published in our book Ratzli Borosh in Hebrew, and later in My Mind Races in English. I also can't thank Barbara Sutnick enough for taking on the challenging task of skillfully translating this jewel of a book into English. So I'm going to read now from Zigzag Child. I'm a zigzag child, so very contrary. Sure, I just look like all the others my age, But I'm one of a kind and so truly unruly that so often I feel I'm just on the wrong page. In a flash, I'm alert and full of suggestions. Then I find myself dreaming on soft, dewy clouds, suddenly sharp and asking good questions. The next instant so scattered, I'm lost in the crowds. I can start out so happy, bouncy and merry, then next thing I know, I'm driving mom crazy, wake up in the morning energetic and cheery, then grind to a halt, all unfocused and hazy. Within seconds, so smiley, excited I soar, then swiftly start sinking right down to the pits. I can be really sensitive, wise, and what's more, I love to give love, but you'll have to take hits. I'm misunderstood, upside down, inconsistent. Surprise, shocks, and jolts make me stumble and reel. Rain, sun, snow, and heat all in one instant, like weather that's changing, it's all so unreal. To be with me sometimes is the most fun you'll see, even though I can get on your nerves, heaven knows. If surprise and adventure are your cup of tea, stick with me and I'll keep you right on your toes. Danny Kerman, Israel's renowned illustrator, has honored us with his ingenious images that lend concrete expression to every poem. The book also features an aside for the adult reader on every page. I will read from it now. The greater the intelligence and the greater the contrasts and the gaps in functioning, the more frustrating it is for us and for the child or adult coping with ADHD. Help them to understand that their abilities do not change. Over time, there will be unpredictable ups and downs in regulation or attention, hyperactivity and impulsivity. In time, and with the raising of consciousness and practice, these become more moderate. Uncontrolled and unexperienced are different names for the same thing. Remember that the most expected thing to expect is the unexpected, and this is what causes so much anxiety. If this is a challenge for us, think about how tough it is for them. The book looks like a children's book, but it is sophisticated in its simplicity. It features poems that are a language, and it will enable adults to connect with the world of children or people coping with ADHD to create an open dialogue, embrace, empower, and enable positive change in their lives. It is a guidebook for parents and teachers, and it is a very powerful tool that enables one to precisely understand, contemplate, reflect, and positively discuss emotions and feelings in a constructive, open manner. The purpose or goal is to help individuals effectively identify, control, and explain themselves as they grow and connect with their many strengths and, in the language of the book, become experts about themselves. 1 in 10 people are coping with ADHD. Try and take time to look around you. All those special kind of folks with a different kind of operating system who you may feel do not fully understand, those who feel misunderstood, outsiders, who feel they have not realized their full potential and they've missed out on life. Every poem is color-coded and it has a spotlight. How does this poem enlighten me? Here, okay? These questions are intended to help parents start a mindful, friendly conversation and raise awareness and consciousness. These questions are only suggestions and can be asked over a period of time, not all in one go, such as, do you also zigzag? Do you also have gaps in functioning? What are some examples? What can cause your weather or mood to change suddenly? What is fun about these changes? What's tough about them for you and for others? Who always accepts you as you are? We will conclude today with homework. Don't rush to read the poem to the child or adult. Start just thinking about and observing gaps in functioning or incompetence. Try to be mindful, observe, don't guess, interpret, educate, be angry, punish, expel, judge, and detain. Don't do all those things. Try to contain with mindfulness, acceptance, and an overdose of compassion and love. Thank you.